Take a look.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Big Hero Chris back at you with another one. If you're new to this channel, go ahead and subscribe, give me a thumbs up, ring the notification bell, hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on TikTok, hit me up in the community post. You already know the vibes. And I'm back at you with your NXT Battleground review. And I gotta say, man, Battleground, it was fun. It was a whole lot of fun. 6 matches, not too much, just the right amount of, graps, just the right amount of shenanigans, just the right amount of twerking. We'll get into that in a little bit. But this was an overall fun show, man. We had Sexy Red as the host. Speaking of twerking, man, she opened up the show. She welcomed us to Battleground, and then she just started twerking. And yeah, and that's how the show began. And then it started off with the ladder match to crown the inaugural NXT North American Women's Champion. You had Kelani, Jordynne, Lash Legend, Mia Yim, Jaida Parker, Ruca, and what's her name, Fallon Henley. And I gotta say, man, everybody except for Fallon Henley, they showed up and they showed out, man. They all put on good performances. My initial pick to win actually won, even though there was a couple of times where I was thinking that maybe it could be Lash Legend, or hell, maybe it could even be Michin and Mia Yim. But the winner and the first ever Women's North American Champion is Kelani Jordynne. She had a really good performance, man. She was doing flips and split-legged moonsaults and dives. And there was one point where she was just getting beat up, she was getting beat up with ladders and everything. There was even one spot where all 5 women jumped on Lash Legend and dumped her through a ladder, and it was a crazy spot. Like, they held her up and just threw her out like she was just nothing, and it was just crazy. I'm like, is she hurt? Is she good? I'm hoping she's alright. I hope everyone's okay. But like I said, man, Kelani Jordynne is your new North American Women's Champion. You even see her in the background dancing with Sexy Red, twerking on her a little bit. Whole lot of twerking. I'm not complaining, I'm just keeping up, making sure you guys know that there was a whole lot of twerking going on this show, man. But we'll move on to our next match, and it's for the NXT Tag Team Championships with Axiom and Nathan Frazer taking on the Good Brothers. And this is the only prediction I got wrong, because I actually thought that Anderson and Gallows were actually going to take the win. I thought that the Good Brothers were going to get a good win and become good tag team champions, but that wasn't the case. Not really to my surprise. Gallows and Anderson actually showed up. They had a good match with Axiom and Nathan Frazer. Whole bunch of close falls, near falls, magic killer attempts. But Axiom and Nathan Frazer, they're just too quick, hitting Phoenix splashes and all types of flip-de-doos and dives and whatnot. And they retained, and they're still your tag team champions. And I gotta say, this was kind of like, I don't want to say Forbidden Door, but it kind of is, with this whole partnership with UFC and WWE and even TNA. And throughout the night, I'm just expecting people just to show up. So after the tag team title match, I'm like, all right, who's gonna show up? Is it gonna be Chris Bay and Ace Austin? Is it gonna be the Motor City Machine Guns? Who knows where they are? Who is it gonna be? But nobody showed up, man. But it's all good, because it was a good match, and still your tag team champions. So next up, we have the NXT Underground match between Lola Vice and Shayna Baszler. And I gotta say, man, out of all the underground matches that NXT/WWE has had, this is probably the best one. I don't know if it's because they're actually MMA trained fighters. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because they were legit beating each other, like they owed each other money or something like that. I don't know. I guess it's a combination of all of the above, from the presentation of Shayna and Lola Vice, from the video packages, they're showing them training, they're showing them sparring and shadow boxing, hit the mitts and all that. I gotta say, man, this is probably one of my favorite underground matches, and a lot of people are saying this, I'm thinking it as well, but the match between Lola Vice and Shayna Baszler way better than the match Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler had, where like they tried to pitch it as an actual MMA fight, and I'm just like, it's not hitting the way you want it to. Versus the match between Shayna and Lola Vice, that hit exactly the way you wanted it to. It was just like a shoot fight with shenanigans and chaos, and you had the security getting beat up by Shayna Baszler. Lola Vice ended up getting the win. She did exactly what she said she was gonna do, and that was knock out Shayna Baszler and twerk afterwards. Like I said, a whole lot of twerking going on this show, man. I'm not mad at it. I'm just pointing it out so you'll know. Even after the match, Sexy Red found Lola Vice and they just started twerking. They even got the skinny white woman to start dancing too. She attempted to twerk. It was an attempted twerk. So I'm just letting you guys know, I'm pointing it out just so you know. So after this, you had the NXT North American Championship match between Femi, Joe Coffey, Boo, and Wesley. And even though I hate on Gallus, even though I don't like Gallus, even though I think Gallus absolutely sucks, this is a fun match. The reason why, it was because it showcased the strength and brute force of Femi, based off the fact that he was just really just throwing Wesley at Joe Coffey for a good chunk of this match. Like there was one point where Femi threw Wesley from the top rope onto Joe Coffey. There was like times where he powerbombed Wesley onto Joe Coffey. It was just crazy, man. Femi, he's that one, man. He's the one. I wouldn't mind seeing Femi versus Gunther. Somebody said Omos. I'm actually not mad at that either. Femi is that dude. He is that man. He is a beast. And like I said, man, I mentioned Gallus because they suck. And they did the run-in, you know, they're attacking Wesley and Femi. But Femi is just too OP. He's powerful, man. He just single-handedly beat up Gallus. And then he hit a powerbomb on Joe Coffey and on Wesley, and he ended up getting the win. And then after the match, you see Femi celebrating, and you see Gallus looking at Wesley. And this came into play later because Wesley, you know, he's being interviewed, and he gets beat up by Gallus. So to me, what this looks like, because we do have this crossover between NXT and TNA. You know, you already know you have the Rascals that are in TNA that were Wesley's former running buddies, his former tag team partners. So I wouldn't be too surprised if you see Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz pull up in NXT and, you know, reunite the Rascals and extinguish these punk ass Gallus boys. So be on the lookout for that. You heard it here first. Mark my words, you cowards. Now we move on to one of our main events, and that is between Roxanne Perez defending her NXT Women's Championship against the TNA Knockouts Women's Champion Jordynne Grace. Now, if you would have told me a couple years ago that you would have this TNA NXT crossover and the UFC Apex where you would see the Knockouts champion taking on the NXT Women's Champion, I would think that you were on crack or something. I would think that you probably need to be tested for COVID or whatnot. But this is real, man. It's not a fever dream. It's not you're not bugging out. That's exactly what happened. And I gotta say, man, this was a really fire match, man. I'm looking at Roxanne Perez, and I know she's good. I know exactly how good she is. But just watching Roxanne Perez taking on someone who's actually like on the same caliber as her, you actually realize how good Roxanne Perez is to be as young as she is. And Jordynne Grace, man, every time you see her in a WWE ring, she just looks like she belongs. She doesn't look like she's an outsider. She doesn't look like somebody's like, oh, whose man's is this, or whose woman's is this. She looks like she could be a WWE superstar. So when you have this combination, they have no choice but to produce magic. Even though Jordynne Grace was bleeding from her ear, apparently what happened was her earring got caught on Roxanne Perez's fishnet and it got pulled out of her earlobe. That painful. But yeah, man, the match was going good. And then out of nowhere, you had Tatum Paxley appear and she steals the Knockouts Championship. And she's trying to run away. And of all people to pull up, make the return, to come back to NXT, it was Ash by Elegance. Vic Joseph, that was hilarious. Oh my god, it's Ash by Elegance. And it's like, it was funny. So yeah, this distraction ended up leading to Roxanne Perez getting the win, and she's still your NXT Women's Champion. So I wouldn't be surprised if you saw Tatum passing me pull up on an episode of Impact. That wouldn't be surprising me at all. So yeah, welcome back, Dana Brooke / Ash by Elegance. And now it's time for our main event, my friends. Ethan Page is challenging for the NXT Championship against Trick Williams. Another match I never thought we would ever see. But here we are, man. We got it. And to be honest, it was a pretty alright match. I wasn't expecting too much because, you know, Trick, he's good. He's getting better. He's improving. And Ethan Page, he's a really good wrestler. So the match itself was really fine. It wasn't too much to write home about. Trick Williams is still your NXT champion. And of course, we can't end this show no other way than with Sexy Wedge twerking while Trick Williams holds up the NXT championship and Ethan Page looks like he's about to cry. And that's how we end this PLE NXT Battleground. You even saw during the show that Cody Rhodes teased that he may be on NXT this week, so who knows what that's gonna, what's gonna happen with that. But with that being said, guys, what did you think of NXT Battleground? Let me know in the comment section below. Of course, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. You guys take care. Peace. I'm out. Peace.